If you hear me!
What's happening, good people, and welcome to another episode of the Weekly Burn, where we dive into the hottest fan takes from Raw and Smackdown, plus a viewer's take and some random Reddit hot takes. Now, I'm your humble host, Fraz. Joining me, as always, is the kayfabe assassin, Mr. AndiNero, and the ring historian himself, Dirty Dave. Ladies and gentlemen, you know the drill by now. Please hit the like button, smash the bell for notifications, and if you're not already subscribed, what are you doing? We post weekly wrestling content that you will love. So without further ado, gentlemen, let's get into it. So I've got some hot takes from Smackdown. First one is Sammy winning the US title was very similar to when Jay won the IC title. They're testing a mid-card championship run before potentially putting the world title on him. Sammy winning the Rumble Chamber King of the Ring is becoming a serious possibility now. Thoughts, feelings, AndiNero, you first, go.
Yeah, I've seen quite a lot of takes online about how we're getting Sammy Hogan at the moment. We can't seem to get rid of him off our TV. Or Sammy Reigns. Look, at the end of the day, he's a great wrestler, and he certainly is going to do hopefully more with the US title than Solo was, despite Solo's great character work recently. Yeah. I'm inclined to agree that this is a bit like Jay's short-lived IC title reign, just to sort of sell some merch, probably get a new T-shirt or something, and then put it back on Solo, put it back on Jacob, go from there, and then build to the Rumble. So, but it's going to be a big year for Sammy, 100%.
Cool. Dave, you're going to have the next one, all right? So this is that John Cena Logan segment. Oh my god, everything about it was just beautiful. That amazing Paris crowd, the back and forth, the impromptu French lessons, and the Brussels kids shout out. I think now we can at least say we have a lot of Logan and Cena, but it isn't bad.
Well, you wanted the match, dickhead. That's what stands out for me in that segment when John Cena said that to Logan Paul. Yeah, I mean, they both missed a SmackDown, so they had 3 SmackDowns, I think, or 4 to sort of build this. We've had two great promos, and then the tag match a couple of weeks prior to that with Cody. So I think they did the best they could do. I mean, the promos were fantastic from both of them. Made you want to watch the match, which is really good when you consider they haven't had much physicality for a couple of weeks, really, like I said, and they missed a SmackDown completely with none of them on the show. So, for me, did it make me want to watch the match even more? Yes. So, there we go. We're done. That's the result we want. Obviously, the crowd, SmackDown was Lyon, France, wasn't it? Not in Paris, but I mean, that was still fantastic. Great. You can't take anything away from the crowd there. But to be fair, any crowd would have reacted to that promo, to those promos, to those two, that segment, however we want to word it. And ultimately, it made me want to watch the match more. So I was well chuffed.
Yeah, and another thing, maybe some British ignorance here, and probably classy Americans as the same, but it was still good despite English not being their first language. Do you know what I mean? The crowd still vibed off everything that they were saying, even the in-jokes and stuff was really good. So credit to them for making
if not more than the American fans.
Yeah.
I think you got more reactions to those subtleties and those little nods and almost Easter eggs from, a non first English language speaking country, because they're speaking French first, than you would if they were in Arkansas or somewhere in America.
Tulsa.
Anyway, get me off talking about American crowds, because
I shall do. Otherwise, we'll probably lose a few million future subscribers. Andy, this one's for you, and I kind of agree with this one. They did Kiana James so dirty. They could have just done the beatdown on Meechin by having Julia and Kiana jump her from behind during her entrance. The match was so unnecessary, but at least we got to see Julia.
Yeah, they've called Kiana James up from NXT and saddled her with one of the worst gimmicks in terms of basically an agent, would we say, or an assistant to Julia.
Like an agent, yeah, like an agent, I think. Yeah.
Agent, she's almost like a manager.
Yeah, it stinks of a Vince McMahon sort of, I don't know what to do with you, so you're going to be Gillian Hall. It's
what they wanted to do with Adam Cole.
That's what they wanted to do with Adam Cole, exactly. Yeah, it's very, very bad. But yeah, they didn't need to do her quite so dirty. Remember how we were exhausted by seeing Zelina Vega every single week with her terrible music and never doing anything worth watching? Times infinitum with Michin. I don't know why she keeps getting title match after title match for the US title. She had about 30 against Chelsea Green. Now she's got one against Julia. She's a good hand, but change it up. You've got Natty. You've got so many people that you could use in that spot, and they're just not. And it's boring.
Well, just get some character behind her, to be honest. I mean, there's been no development in it at all. She's just so boring.
But call Sol Ruka up. Let her have a go. You know, like it could be just a one night. I mean, where were they? They were in France. Okay, so have we got anyone French or Canadian that could fight that speaks French Canadian? I have no idea, truth be told. But there must be someone in NXT that would do. Bring them out. Have them fight against fucking Julia or do something. But don't just keep recycling the same Michin story over and over again. It's dull. But
no, I'm with you.
We did get to see Julia, so yay.
Yay. Okay. Dave, it's a bit of a jokey one. Made me laugh anyway. I'm not watching SmackDown until they are done pushing the hobo-looking jihad-loving Canadian.
Fucking hell.
Look, he's not my cup of tea.
Yeah. I was just going to say, Andy had his go with Sammy, and it was probably the biggest part of SmackDown, so I just thought I'd give this last one to you, mate.
No, it's fine. He's not my cup of tea, but you know, people seem to love him. So he's getting the US title. They're prepping him again, building him up. He's all right. I wouldn't say I'm going to stop watching SmackDown for him, but I'm not any more invested in SmackDown because of what they're doing for him.
Yeah,
he's just not my flavour. But I'm not saying he's not a good wrestler. I'm not saying he's not a good guy. That's all cool. He's just not going to make me spend enough money to go and watch him, and I'm not going to watch it any more intently than I already do. So for me, it's just another segment, and it's okay.
I mean, I can't say that I'm Sammy's biggest fan. However, I do kind of want to see him win the title. It's something that I'd like, you know, like the J run where it was like a month and a half. Just let him win. Just let him win it. Same as LA Knight, you know, I feel there are certain wrestlers that probably shouldn't go down as not having won a title, and Sami Zayn is one of those, and they've kind of invested. Although he might not be everyone's favourite, we've invested enough time in him as a character to see him succeed at least once anyway. But that's just my fault. So I'll chuck that one in there.
I don't want him. I don't care whether he wins or not. That's all I'm saying. It's like I don't dislike him, but he's not going to make me watch. You know, now he's on SmackDown. He doesn't make me want to watch SmackDown more than I did before. So yeah, I don't hate him by any stretch of the imagination. I'm very indifferent. It's just I'm all for going for the ride and enjoying it, but at the moment, does it pique my interest? No. But we'll see how we go, and I am looking forward to what they do with him.
Not wishing to extend this part more than I need to, but do we not just think that they've essentially struck while the iron is ice cold? Like, realistically, the time to do this, the time to do what you said, Fraz, which is give him a short 2-week reign, 3-week reign, something stupid like a Mankind reign, was Elimination Chamber 2023, when they had the opportunity and the means to just give him the title for a couple of weeks off of Roman. That crowd was hot, his pace and his momentum was hot, he was over as fuck as Sami Uso coming out of the bloodline, and that was the time to do it. And you could have put the belt back on Roman and had him lose or put the belt back on Roman and had him beat Cody in the main event of WrestleMania that year, it wouldn't have
but
mattered.
But that's where things are different now.
He was so over.
But you see, back in the day when you had to be over, and being over sold the tickets for the arenas, and being over sold the pay-per-view buys, that's why you did those sorts of things. Now it's all about the brand and the writers and the storyline, and it's about how they make that package and their brand the most important thing. So they choose. They don't let the fans choose anymore. It's like like I say, we've said before, you'll never have Austin, you'll never have The Rock, you'll never have Hogan. You just won't have it. And even if you do get someone who's that over for a small period of time, or maybe for a long period of time, like Daniel Bryan, they'll just never do it. If it's not their plan to do it, they just won't, because it's just not how the business model works anymore.
The organic nature of the moment.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
You think about the moment of Mankind winning. You think about the
Yep.
crazy shock horror when Kane won the world title in the first blood match and held it for one day. He held it for a day.
24 hours. Yeah. Yep.
24 hours. We don't get that sort of stupidity anymore. And it's just like, I wish we did sometimes for the moment.
I completely agree with you. That's that emotional reaction and connection that I miss from wrestling that you just don't get anymore. It's just, if you're lucky, you struck. I mean, if you're lucky, you get a Cody Rhodes. But I mean, that's what, 1 in 20 years. I mean, what, he won at 40. The last time anyone really won it against the odds was Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania 30.
Kofi.
Kofi.
Wouldn't quite put it on the same plateau as that, but yeah, okay.
Well, he wasn't as over, I guess, but that was still pretty shocking.
Well, at the time, Kofi Mania was huge, but yeah, it died a death straight after he won the belt, didn't it? So
yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
sorry, dude,
well, thanks for extending that one there, mate. I'm going to move on to hot takes from Raw. Andy, this one's for you. If WWE doesn't give us the payoff of AJ Lee in Chicago, WWE is going to regret it. I get that we've been down the road way too many times before, but this is such an easy layup to make. It'll be impossible to mess this up. They're setting up that mixed tag for WrestlePalooza.
Yeah. It is what it is. It's going to be... It's kind of got to be at this point. And it's also been confirmed, I believe, on social media by WrestleShop. What's it called? WWE Shop or Shop?
Shop.com, yeah.
They basically confirmed that AJ Lee's back by launching her T-shirt.
Oh, really?
Someone tweeted at WWE Shop, so whatever it was, and said, when can I buy an AJ Lee top? Why can't I buy an AJ Lee top? And the response from the official account was, well, now that she's back in the company, you'll be able to get a new T-shirt very soon. And it's like, fuck.
You get fired in the morning.
Yeah,
fired in the morning.
Good luck, Ten Hag. But yeah.
Shout out to Eric, who's had 2 games for Leverkusen, managed to go 3-1 up against Werder Bremen, get a man sent off for the other team for Werder Bremen, and still drew the game 3-3. Best manager in the world. Get him in at Chelsea, I say. Dave, Bronson Reed still keeping up the tribal thief gimmick despite losing to Roman and losing the Shula follow-up makes 0 sense.
Okay, sorry, makes 0 sense. Which match did he win to win the trainers?
He didn't.
Oh, he didn't? Oh, right. So what difference does it make whether he wins or loses a match, whether he loses the trainers?
I think it's the point that he is the tribal thief without having stolen anything now or having any shoes. Why do we care? Like, he needs to have shoes stolen. He needs to be stealing shoes. It's like the Repo Man without anything he's repossessed. Doesn't make any sense.
Repo never came out with anything. Repo Man never came out with anything. So on one Raw, after he's lost some shoes, he's still calling himself the tribal thief, and he hasn't got anything that he's stolen, and we're now saying it's shit after like 3 weeks, where he didn't win anything to get them in the first place. No, I think I'll stay the course of the storyline and not necessarily judge the fact that he still called himself the Tribal Thief 24 hours after he lost his shoes. I think big things are coming for him, so I'm not going to shit on him just yet, and especially not for something that's not really valid.
I wouldn't have hated him stealing Jay's shoes at the end of the night, just to have Jay's
That would have
shoes.
been funny.
Let's be realistic. He didn't want to steal anything in France, get arrested, and then not get back through customs in America. It's as simple as that. I mean, if we want to make it into a storyline, there you go, people. So look out this week on Raw. He's going to be like Repo Man and like Jean-Pierre Lafitte. He's going to come and steal Bret Hart's jacket, and people will be going, "Oh my god!" And he will be your Tribal Thief.
I was shocked at this result. Andy, this one's for you. I love Dom, but tonight should have been AJ's crowning moment. If not now, then when? That crowd celebrating with him would have been a legendary scene. The ending with El Grande was very, very deflating as well.
Agreed. I mean, we already know that Finn was there. Why couldn't Finn have got involved somewhere and cost Dom the title? It didn't need to happen the way it has. The celebration scenes would have been fucking amazing, and they've blown the opportunity to end all opportunities, because they're not going to get that kind of reaction from anywhere else in the world to a win for one guy.
Goes back to your point a minute ago about not pulling the trigger, not letting the super over situation, not letting
the moment happen for the sake of the moment.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he could have lost it if it doesn't fit in with a 10-year story plan or a 6-month storyline. He could win it back. Dom's probably going to lose at AAA, which is and then he could come out the following week on Raw and regain the Intercontinental title, couldn't he? But just give AJ that, and that. I mean, how amazing would have been? Well, anyway, there you go. That is another example.
Dave, give you an opportunity to talk about this. If Seth, Becky versus Punk, AJ won't happen, I will suck my own dick and record that shit and put it on Twitter.
Well,
I mean we don't really. That's not my hot take, actually. As you could tell, I wouldn't normally put stuff on the video like this, but it was definitely written by a kindred spirit.
I think two things there. One, congratulations. 2, I'm sure you probably don't leave your house very often. Why would you? 3, it's a tag match in a fictitious world of wrestling. But hey, if you need to make excuses for you to suck yourself off and stay at home, you crack on, my fella. If it happens, it happens. It'll be great. If it doesn't, I'm going to carry on living. I'm not going to mind. I love AJ. If she comes back, it's going to be great. Let's just see what happens. It's WrestlePalooza, baby.
Yeah. Okay.
But one thing's for sure. Even if that match does happen, that guy's still going to be staying at home, entertaining himself that night. So he's going to be happy whatever happens.
Scathing from the ring historian. I'm going to move on to our viewers' take. This is Ben, Heel Hardy for life. He has sent us a message saying, my favourite hot take over the last few weeks has come from none other than James E. Cornette. And I am absolutely inclined to agree. He compared AEW's Okada's wrestling ability, physique, and in-ring movements to David Flair. After witnessing his matches over the last year's lackluster efforts and overall performance, I completely understand why Jim would throw this one out there. What do you think, Andy?
That's insane. There aren't enough words in the dictionary or in my vocabulary, which is extensive in its own right, to talk about this. How stupid this take is. And I'm sorry, Ben. I don't know you very well, if at all. And we've obviously... This is insane, mate. I'm sorry, no. Okada's match against Swerve at Forbidden Door was amazing, was awesome. His work over the last year with his ability to still engage in a crowd while talking Japanese and then just quite simply drop bitch at the end of it and make everyone pop is hilarious. He's the Rainmaker. If you don't like his physique, okay, well, Kevin Owens hasn't exactly got the greatest physique in the world, and he's still one of the best wrestlers to ever do it. It doesn't matter about the physique. What matters is about how they make you feel in the ring and what they can achieve in the ring and what they can evoke from you as an emotion in their matches. And Okada can do anything. He's got one of the prettiest drop kicks in the world, and he's just one of the best wrestlers ever. His match with Kenny at All In was super, and the man can't do anything wrong. So Cornette has had some golden opinions in the past. This is not one of them.
I think the biggest insult there, just really quickly, is the fact that he's trying to make out that David Flair wasn't very good.
David Flair got his head beat in by The Undertaker backstage at a WWE training school.
Yeah, but he was managed by Stacey Keebler at one point with WCW, so I mean, that's fine by me.
So
he's
was
a winner.
Test.
Didn't David Flair have a tag team partner was a Crowbar once?
Crowbar, and
yeah.
the late great Daphne. Oh, rip.
And Mini Nate used to be their referee for the David Flair and Ric Flair matches, Charles Robinson. So, yeah, no. What are you trying to say, Jim?
Let's not pretend that David Flair and Okada are in the same league. They're not.
Do you know anything about Okada, Dave?
Not really. I've seen a few highlights. Not enough. Not enough to. I just watched the highlights of most of the shows.
Yeah.
So I mean, he looks fine to me. I mean, I was just sort of racking my brain at wrestlers that don't, never really look good, and I'm not really sure what relevance it has. Jake the Snake never had a good body. Waylon Mercy never had a good body. Billy Gunn's a bit average. So
What?
Road Dogg, for example. No, but
Road
Road Dogg didn't have a great physique. I mean, we're
Baron Corbin.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think he got an unfair stick. I mean, I just, as a matter of fact, for me, I would like to see more variety in physiques in wrestling. I don't just want to see 215-pound ripped guys or 215-pound non-ripped guys. It would be nice to have a bit of shape. You don't get people like Earthquake anymore. I'm not saying I want loads of fat people, but you just want some more diversity, don't you?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I just want to say thanks, Ben, for the take.
Yeah.
Guys, if you've got any hot
Thanks,
takes
Jim.
yourself.
No hate, Ben. No hate.
Should we tag Jim Cornette in this?
Oh, honestly, if I came face to face with Jim Cornette, there's one way that's going.
As I was saying, if you've got any hot takes, please leave them in the comments and we'll make sure that we get them out on the next episode. We'll just like to point out there's been growth on the channel. We've been going since the end of April. We're now in September. That's a few months. If you've followed us from the start, you'll know that Andy's not really been a big fan of Bret Hart, but when we were setting this up, Andy specially requested for his head to be over Bret's body because he wants to be Bret and he wants Dave's approval and acceptance.
I don't know if
congrats to you. He's pulled out the signed photo of Bret the Hitman Hart, and it actually says to David, which is Dave's French alter ego.
Yeah. En français, je m'appelle. I didn't know if I'd mentioned it, so.
Magic. Okay, guys, I've got two more random ones. Dave, this one's for you, and it's quite funny because you have been very heated on this subject, and from your responses from the other hot takes of people, this is going to go down very well. You can love the European fans' passion and enthusiasm, but I don't need to hear a 3-hour concert of the fans making themselves the centre of attention, interrupting each promo. The Attitude Era crowds were my perfect balance of being loud, rowdy, but they weren't chanting for 3 consecutive hours.
Yeah, okay, to a degree, but I haven't really seen a European crowd that's taken away from the show yet. For me, they've made the show far better than it could have been on paper, and certainly far better than it would have been in America or North America. But that's what we do. Americans will shout and scream when they go to the cinema and ruin the film for everybody. But then when they go and watch some sport, they sit on their hands. Well, we don't do that. We sit and enjoy a film, and then we go ape shit when the football's on. So, horses for courses. If you don't like it, you know what you can do, don't you? Go pay a ticket to go and watch the show and make a bit of a noise in your own hometown. Oh no, you won't do that. So, don't have an opinion.
Don't have an opinion. Okay. Andy.
Yeah.
This one is for you. This should really be for Dave, but I'm going to throw it out there because you are Bret Hart today. It's got nothing to do with Bret Hart at all, but it's old school. I watched Hulk versus the Warrior recently for fun. The wrestling was so bad, but the fans were into it. I also watched some old Raw Rumbles. You can watch wrestling progress from just being about strength to being about interesting maneuvers.
Well, you know who you've got to thank for that, don't you? So
Where was the hot take on that one?
Well, I think they're just talking about the progression of wrestling and how bad it was back in the 80s, but the crowds were like fucking mega into it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's a. I literally saw a thing the other day. It was a comment from the Undertaker talking about how Hogan was mid at best in the ring, and everyone can understand that he was mid at best in the ring, and that there was a shift from people being solid character work, like the emphasis being on the character work and things like saying your prayers, eating your vitamins, snorting your cocaine, etc., but dropping maybe half a dozen moves, if that, to being the excellence of execution, the Heartbreak Kid, the master of athleticism and discipline and things like that, and being able to really actually go. The way wrestling has always gone through evolutions. There was a comment about, so I think there was, who was it? Was it Gorgeous George or Buddy Rogers or someone made a comment about like, oh,
David
this is
Flair.
ridiculous. It was a comment based on. They said this is nothing but non-selling, silly, bumping around the ring craziness, and what the match they were talking about was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat versus Macho Man Randy Savage, and they thought it was the most ridiculous thing they'd ever seen because it was just crazy high-flying stupidity. And it's like, depending on your era, everything that comes after you looks crazy to you. Like Cornette has ridiculous opinions about AEW, but realistically, in 30 years' time, people will be doing stuff that people who are in AEW right now will be calling crazy, insane. That's how ahead of the curve things like Bret Hart, ECW, the Cruiserweight division, Lucha Libre, all these things were so far ahead of their time that now the people from the 80s and the 90s are like, well, this is just ridiculousness. And it's just like, yeah, there's stages that wrestling goes through of development and evolution, and we're in a period right now where things are starting to evolve again.
Dave, do you want to have a little retort to that, or can I move on to the last one, which is for both of you?
Go for it.
Thank you for that, Andy. That was very good, actually.
Sorry.
No, eloquently put, I thought. So this one I tend to agree with. The internet and wrestling YouTube channels ruined wrestling. Anyone can now go online to see when people are released, future story plans, finishes, and completely raises everyone's unrealistic expectations. Dave, give
I
me the
mean,
floor first.
To a degree, we grew up watching Raw and Nitro on a Friday. Now they came out on a Monday, so this is 25 years, 30 years ago.
Dave, what are you talking about?
And in 1995, 96, 97, when you got the basic internet, we knew what had happened on Raw and Nitro. 5 days before. Now, did it stop us watching it on Friday nights? Not when we were teenagers, or not when we were too young to be going out. But yeah, I mean, it obviously affects demographics of viewers. But having said that, TV isn't the same anymore. It's not set, especially when you're watching things on Netflix. You know, a lot of people skip through bits, don't even watch the whole show from start to finish. It's certainly not a situation where everybody sits and watches it as it's live anyway. You know, most people DVR it in America anyway, and have been for years. Does it take the edge off? Yeah, but you know, at the end of the day, you don't have to go out and find the information. So, again, from our point of view in the UK, I wake up in the morning after a PLE if I haven't watched it live. I have a choice to make. I can not go on social media for a couple of hours and I can watch the PLE on Sunday morning, or I can go on social media and ruin the PLE. But that's my choice. So, you know, it's there, but you know, it's like breaking the law. You can do it if you want, but you're only going to spoil it for yourself, aren't you? So it is your call. But in theory, yes, it's damaged it, I suppose.
Yeah. Andy, do you have any thoughts on this?
I think the internet generally has ruined most things. I think we can all agree that for the most part, the internet has benefited humanity immensely, but has also ruined most things that in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s we actually held dear: anticipation, excitement, surprise. The off-air, I mentioned to Dave earlier about how our episode structure can mimic things like What Culture Wrestling from back in the day, could mimic Wrestle Talk, and all these other guys that do this sort of thing like we do. And you know, we're not helping the situation because we're doing exactly what it is. But at the end of the day, like Dave said, the content's out there. The content is being created, and it's up to you as to whether or not you want to go and find it or not. Nothing's forcing you to type in wrestle podcasts on YouTube, or you know, if you don't want to watch, you can watch a really, really positive podcast like something like Wrestle,
like us,
going in Raw, or like us, or you can go and watch something.
No plugs for our own channels. Yeah.
No spoilers for us. We don't spoil things for you people.
Cringe. It's cringe to advertise.
Well, but no, it's not though. It's true.
But you can go and if you want to have something negative and be in a weird sort of echo chamber, you can go and watch JD from NY and literally sit there and listen to him shout at you for 3 hours. That's fine if that's what you want. If you want to ruin wrestling for yourself, obviously we all like I alluded to a couple of weeks ago. Kayfabe is long dead. The suspension of disbelief is dead, and it's now just a case of what do you want to take out of your experience. The water cooler moments of standing around and talking about wrestling or Game of Thrones or Sons of Anarchy or whatever, they're all gone now because you can binge it all.
It's not how you watch.
Binge, you know, we can binge a whole month's worth of wrestling in a day if you want to, if you just wait until the end of the month, or spoil it for yourself with social media or Rejar or whatever they're called.
Rejar. Excellent points, both of you. I thought they were very, very well put. I will just add, I may set myself a challenge come Road to WrestleMania season and not go on social media and see how that pans out for me, because I am of the opinion that, you know, us included, even as casual fans amongst friends, will, I won't say gospel, but you read something on social media, for example, and then you'll form an opinion from that, and then you almost like you're trying to convince people. Like if I read that Mr. Perfect, not Mr. Perfect, he's dead, but I don't know, Billy Gunn's going to come back and win the world title. And I know this is bullshit because I've just read it online, but they've made a really good case. I'm just trying to convince you to, and then you start believing that, and then you'll tell other people. It's just the expectation of wrestling nowadays is a bit absurd. But take Clash in Paris, for example. I read that The Rock was in Venice, premiere for his new movie, Mean Machine or whatever the fuck it is, Wrecking Machine. And Brock Lesnar was going to come back. I went into the show thinking that was going to happen. Was there an element of me thinking, oh, well, that was shit? Yeah, there was. Was I disappointed that Becky Lynch came out instead of Ethan Page or The Rock, for example?
Montez,
Yes. Yes, absolutely so. But it goes back to what Dave said and you said, Andy. It's all about choice, isn't it? We choose to follow these accounts. We choose to subscribe to YouTube channels. We all have our favourites and form opinions based around what people say. If you're given the platform, you're going to talk, aren't you? And you're going to try and impose your thoughts on other people. Therefore,
Like
please
subscribing to
share,
ours.
and subscribe
Like, share,
to Holla If You
subscribe
Hear
on
Me,
our
which is
channel.
an extremely positive podcast majority of the time. Majority
No
of the time.
spoilers. No spoilers.
No spoilers at all.
And that's a spoiler.
That's all we've got time for this week, guys. Thank you for joining us for the weekly burn. Please like, share, subscribe, all the good stuff. We'd love to hear your hot takes. So again, please leave a comment. I will shout out Wrestling Universal, who reached out to us on one of our videos, essentially asking to do a collaboration for a podcast. Breaking news. Big Dog, reach out. Yeah, we're interested. We'd love to do some business. But for me and the guys, as always, adios amigos. Evolution of the mystery.